Hey guys, I am coming to you live. Ignore this as usual. I am coming to you live from our vacation home in Blue Ridge, Georgia. I don't know if you can see that over there. I've done lives from here before. Here, let me walk out here, but it's just so bright and sunny. I didn't want to be giving myself more wrinkles. Have a look at this. I love being able to work out here. This is the goal, you guys. This is why we do the hard things. This is why we don't quit. So we can buy and work from wherever we want. I'm tripping over stuff. Look how pretty. So I'm here for 2 weeks and my daughter's at camp and I'm working here for 2 full weeks. And I haven't put together the list of trainings for June yet, and wanted to tell you about a little change I'm gonna do based on some feedback from you guys. I'm gonna do this once a week instead of twice a week. And it's gonna be on a Tuesday, and it will never be during the last week of the month. So if the Tuesday lands on like the 28th, 29th, into the month is a huge run for us. So we will not do a training here if it's close to the last day of the month. Hey guys. So this is how you put all this together. So you've probably watched several of these, probably haven't caught them all. But if you go into guides, you can literally see the trainings that I've done, and there's repeat trainings in there. I have some really great reels that I've been saving, and they're all within one guide. If you ever want to go back and find something, you can go into guides, you can look under all the topics. It's a great place also to tag your teams if you don't want to teach them this stuff, or you can listen to me do it and go regurgitate it where you are so that everyone wins, right? So take this information and pass it on. That's what I'm doing. I didn't wake up knowing all this stuff. I learned it kind of as I went and learned it from a bunch of different places, some paid, some free, and I'm passing it on, right? So here's how to put all this together. All of this daily activities, this is how you put this together to actually build a business. So first of all, the very most important, 100% most important part about putting this to work is to actually go to work. So if you had to have another job where you have to get dressed, drive there, and be focused on what you're doing for that person for an X amount of time, 8 hours or 4 hours or whatever time you do that, so many days a week, that is a level of commitment that you have to give yourself in your business. And it's the number one thing nobody is willing to do, and then they whine and cry because they haven't made 6 figures. Every single one of us who's making 6 figures or more in this business works it like a real job that we have to clock in and clock out of. Now, I'm not saying I don't come to a beautiful mountain cabin or a beach house and also work, but I'm putting my hours in and I'm scheduling my work time in advance. So this is where I see most people fail. And it comes from the incorrect, false narrative of in the pockets of your time, okay? I am here to tell you that if that's what you believe, you're being lied to. You cannot do this in the pockets of your time. You can, but you're gonna make hobby money. If you do it in the pockets of your time, it's gonna be hobby money. You have to create more than pockets of time. And so what did that look like for me when I was working full time? I got up every morning at 5 o'clock. Every freaking morning at 5 o'clock. And I worked my business from 5 to 7. So 10 hours a week I put in along with my full-time job because I wanted to quit my real job. And that's what I had to do. So I did that for 6 months and then I resigned. When I decided that I was going to put the time in to create something, that's when it started paying me. So if you're doing pockets of time, you're only making pockets of money. And if you want to make bank accounts of money, you're going to have to create the time. You just are. And is it hard? Yeah, it's real hard. But do you know what's harder? not being able to come to Blue Ridge for 2 weeks and work my business because I have to ask off, or I don't have enough PTO, or, I have to wait for my boss to approve it. That's harder. So everybody says, like, determine your why, pick your hard, blah, blah, blah. Here's what they're not telling you. Set your work hours. So today, when you get off this call, I want you to look at your calendar for the rest of the month, and I want every day you to plug in your 2 hours a day that you are going to not negotiate with yourself every single day. When I say every day, I say 5 days a week. So pick 5 days. If you're already doing more than 2 hours, this is a training for your team. Schedule 2 hours. If you want to make 6 figures, you have to start with 2 hours a day. I work more than 2 hours a day, and I'm also making more than 6 figures. So as you are wanting to earn more, you put more time in. It's just time doing different things. So set your work hours. That's the first priority. So when I was working a full-time job, I was like, okay, every day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to work from 5 to 7. I'm going to get these tasks done. Part of the DMO. This is what I've been training the whole time. If you don't have that DMO, you can go get it. I'm going to update it a little bit. We got some new information, new algorithm information that I think is going to be helpful. So I'm going to change that up and I'll send it back out. So if you have not texted DMO to my auto responder, 404-436-0446, you need to, because Facebook's not going to let me friend you, and Facebook's not going to let me send you a link for this document. But if you text my autoresponder, you'll get it immediately. Doesn't matter what day. I don't have to do that. I'm busy over here. We're actually painting our kitchen cabinets. And then we're going to live our best life. We're going to a winery. We're going to go shopping. And then we're going to go to dinner. And I've worked my whole business. Actually, still in my pajamas. So set the work hours. And then I want you to intentionally focus every single day on, did you complete that set work hour? And then why? Every day. Every day at the end of the day. I said I was going to work from, this time to this time. It doesn't have to be consecutive. It could be an hour in the morning and an hour at night. It could be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes early afternoon, 30 minutes late afternoon, and 30 minutes before bed. But give yourself, if you want to grow, at least 2 hours consistently 5 days a week to work your business so that it pays you. So when I talk to a new rep, I say, how much money do you want to make? How fast do you want to make it? And how much time do you have to spend 5 days a week to make that? And if they tell me they want to make $5,000 a month and they have 30 minutes a day, I tell them that's not going to happen. Don't let anyone lie to you. In 30 minutes a day, I can help you make hundreds of dollars a month. That's it. You're never going to hit the $1,000 point with 30 minutes a day. Not going to happen. I don't care what business you're in. Your upline spouting off lies in the pockets of your time. No, it's not in the pockets of your time. I mean, I guess you could count 30 minutes 4 times a day in the pockets of your time, but my pocket of time is not 30 minutes. That's like a set time block for me. Pockets of my time is while I'm waiting at the doctor's appointment, when I'm in the car at a stoplight. Don't do that. Because somebody canceled an appointment with me and now I have this extra option of time to fill, that kind of stuff. So set your work hours. Okay. You decide, and don't go all in and say, I'm going to work 5 hours a week if you're not even doing 30 minutes a day. Okay. Set an intentional time block of work hours that you are going to clock in and out because you deserve it. Your business deserves it and your team deserves it. And let me tell you, if you're not doing this, your team's not going to do it. So if you are not consistently keeping your work schedule, your team's not either, and that's why you're not making any money. So your team's going to do 50% of what you do, so you need to do 150% of what you say you're going to do. So set your work hours, and then every night when you're planning your next day, I'm plugging in unexpected calls or appointments that I have. I'm still making sure that my work hour is going to be okay, or do I need to move it? I'm planning what I'm going to do during that work hour the day before. I have these 2 hours that I'm going to work, simultaneously. I'm going to get my post scheduled. I'm going to do all my reach outs. I'm going to add my new friends, and I'm going to ask 3 people about my business. Like, I had that planned. And whatever I need to do, like create an email or do a text message blast or connect with my team, or I need to do some whatever. So this is your time for you. not coaching your team. This is your time to work your own business. Coaching your team is extra work hours, not instead of. You're still working your own business. And then if you didn't get today's work hours done, I want you to write down why. Why didn't you get the work done? You said you were going to clock in at 7 a.m. and clock out at 8 a.m. so you could get these activities done. Why didn't you? Write down why you didn't. Write down what you were feeling when you decided to say no to your kids. When you decided to say no to an ailing parent that you were trying to create time for. When you decided to say no to your retirement account. When you decided to say no to paying off your taxes. When you decided to say no to paying off that credit card bill. When you decided to say no to your why that day, because that's what you're doing. You're looking at your why and saying, you don't mean anything to me. I mean, for a lot of you, you say you're doing this for your kids. Every time you don't punch in and punch out, you're looking at your kids and saying, I don't give a crap about you. You're not that important. Whatever your why is, when you don't clock in and clock out, you're looking at your why saying, I don't give a crap about you. You're not that important. So is your why really that important? Or is it just a, would be nice? So when you don't clock in and clock out, I want you to write down why, and I want you to write down what you were feeling, and then I want you to write down what you did instead. I don't care if you solved world hunger instead of working your business during your work hour that you preset and said was a non-negotiable. It is not okay to do anything else during your work hour unless it is a crisis. So like your kid called from school and you had to go pick her up, or there was an appointment that you forgot about. I'm notorious for this. Be like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be at the chiropractor. Okay. If it wasn't a crisis, then it is not okay to not work. So would you just not show up at your job? Like your boss says you're working 9 to 5 and then the next day you're just like, I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel about it. I thought about going in and then I just felt like, that seems spammy. I don't really want to. And I just can't be bothered. So I just decided not to. I mean, do you do that at your real job? So why would you do that as your own employee? Like think about the kind of employee that you are in your real job, where you're working for somebody else and making them money. Why can't you be that kind of employee for yourself, where you're working for yourself and you're making yourself money? So the first and most important thing is to set work hours. Plan what you're going to do within those work hours. I've been training on this the entire DMO. Exactly what you do during your set work hours is already planned for you, done for you. Basically, you just follow that if you want to. That's what I did to grow from 200 friends in a dead algorithm to 6 figures and more. Like I just did those things every day during my set work hours. And did I show up every single time 100%? Not in the beginning. Do I now? I would say 98% of the time. Yes. Because I have to get where I'm going. And where I'm going is the top 1%. So I made that plan when I started this business, and I got more serious as I got closer to it. So I got 2 more ranks. 2 more ranks to go. And if you've been in this business at any length of time, you know those last couple of ranks before you hit the top 1. Ooh, they're hard. But we can do hard things, and I certainly can do hard things. I've done a lot of hard things, including divorce, bankruptcy, not having enough money to feed my children, wondering if I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage. I mean, I've already done hard things, so I certainly can do this. So set work hours. Follow this DMO that I trained here. In that guide, every part of the DMO is explained in detail with examples. You can spend a weekend and have the whole thing done, or you can go line by line what you need. Like, do I need help on posting or engaging or adding or reaching out? Do I need help on, making reels, doing hooks? Like, that's all in there. Set your work hours. Decide why you're working, first of all. And then if you choose not to do your work hour, look at whatever your why is, which I hope you have on your vision board or you have saved on your phone. Look at a picture of that and tell that you really don't give a shit about it. I don't care about you. You're not important to me today. If you can say that to your why, you probably need a new why. Because, you probably need a new why. My why to start was to replace my income so I could walk away and be home with my last child. I learned as a parent, as a busy parent, that it is not important to stay with them when they are babies. It is important to stay with them when they are middle schoolers and high schoolers, where they have more time to get into trouble. And by the way, more stuff to deal with in their life. So, if you follow me on my regular page, I kind of like low-key complain about my motherhood duties, but I'm also grateful that I can do it. I don't have to pay somebody else to take my kid around. I don't have to, God forbid, put her in an Uber because I'm working. I can do all of those things. I mean, I'd also talk about how I don't get paid, and, my personal assistant job, is kind of a shit show, but I'm happy to be there, and she needs me. She hit a mental health crisis, and it was this company, the income I earned, where I was able to step away from my real job and be with her, and I was able to pay cash for all the off-label stuff medically I'm doing for her, that it was thousands of dollars that was not covered by insurance. And she today is doing really, really well, and it's because I had this money. So my why, I could not look at and say, your mental health doesn't matter to me. You said you were suicidal, but I'm not going to show up for the business that's going to pay to help you get out of that headspace. I couldn't. So I showed up, and I made that money. I walk into, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Amen Clinic. We have one here in Atlanta. It's $6,000 cash. Walked in there, they said it was going to be $6,000. Here's payment plans if you want to put it on your credit card. And I was like, no, I'm going to write you a check because I can, thank God, because I worked hard to create that income that I didn't even blink and said yes for my kid. Also, yes. Also, if I didn't have the money, I would have eaten macaroni and cheese for months and taken a side job or doubled down on my business or whatever I had to do to pay for it. But I was grateful that I had already created that money. And now I pay cash for her behavioral health. That is thousands of dollars a month. And I pay cash for that because I can, because I worked hard and she was my why. Now my second why is I have a kid with Asperger's and he is 21 and I don't want him living with me forever. So I'm looking at multifamily housing to put him in a situation where I'm the landlord and we're renting out 7 units and he gets to live in the 8th for free. That's a $1 million property. That is my new why. And I can't look at him and say, I don't really care about you. So I clock in and clock out because I'm not going to look my kid in the face and say, if I die, you might be homeless because you are not able to be gainfully employed right now with your disability. So pick a real big why that you can't look at and say, I don't give a shit about you. Set your work hours and then clock in and clock out. I don't know about you, but when I was an employee, I went to work sick. I didn't clock out. I didn't quit until I had another job. I was a hard worker for not enough money. I showed up and busted my ass when I made $3.15 an hour, my first job, all the way up to when I was creating way more, but still not 6 figures a year. I worked my ass off and I was a good, dependable employee. Why can't you be that kind of employee for yourself? And then so many of you are whining and fucking crying about that you haven't made money or this is just not working for me. Is it? Is it not working for you or are you not working for you? Because what I see on my side as a coach, you are not working for you. It works. Not that specific company, but this direct-to-consumer model works. And it's the, by the way, only place that any one of you watching today is going to get even close to making $1 million a year. None of you. I promise. If there's one of you who already is making $1 million a year, not in direct sales, please raise your hand. But for me, this is the only place where I even have the chance to make $1 million a year. Direct sales makes more millionaires than any other type of industry in the world. And if you work, you can make it there. So when you say, it's just not working for me, I want you to go look in the mirror and look at all of your work hours, all of your your time cards, punch in, punch out, punch in, punch out, and really take a look at, is it not working for you, this business model, or are you not working for you? And the good news is, it is you. And that means you can fix it, because if it was the business, if it was the industry, there wouldn't be any way that you could change that. But the good news is, it's not the industry, it's you. And that is something that can be fixed if you're willing to work. So go punch in and punch out. Set your work hours, keep track of them. Write down why you didn't show up for work today. Go look at your why and tell them you don't really care about it. You're not important to me. Write down what you did instead. Write down the feelings that you were having when you decided to say no to your why. Write down what you were doing instead. And then make an active plan to not do that tomorrow. And if you don't go to work tomorrow, I want you to write down why. What was I feeling when I said no to my why? What did I do instead? And is that getting me closer to my goal? Am I going to do this again tomorrow? Because for a lot of you, you are. You're going to wake up tomorrow, you're going to do the same thing you did today, which is not go to work. So 2 hours, 5 days a week. Consistently do that for 6 months. I guarantee you, if you're using tips like what you find in here and any other place on earth that you go look for social media tips, you will be making money. 100% guaranteed. No way. And if you want to do the 7-day challenge with Kristen Boss, it's free. I'll drop the link down below. I would highly recommend it if you're needing to start over. I work very closely with her whole team, and that social media training that she gives is the only social media I would train. I mean, I would recommend to my team or anybody's team. So I'll put that down below. It's a 7-day challenge that has coming up. I love her challenges. Lots of good stuff, new stuff for the algorithm change, the market change, and summer being here. So she's got a really great new social media hub that can be as little as $1 a month. I mean, it's too incredible not to talk about. I'll put the link down below. You can have a look at it. And let me know here what you would like to hear about this month. I think we're going to just stick with mindset. Basically, the whole month I want to talk about, why aren't you going to work? Why aren't you going to work? And we're going to kind of peel through that. So every Tuesday at 10 a.m., there's going to be no calls on Thursday now. And I'll send that text out to everybody. If you want to get text updates from me, text DMO to 404-436-0446. You're going to get my free DMO, everything I did to grow from a dead algorithm to 6 figures. And then every once in a while, I'll text you an update on things that are happening in here that are different. So happy working, you guys. Go punch in. Bye, y'all.